than that. Hey guys, I'm Ray, and we are streaming blacksmithing. Let me put on these temporarily so I can hear myself. And then we're gonna kind of get started. So a couple notes about today's stream. OBS failed to update today. There was an update that I started, but it failed. So we are back to the regular OBS. But if something gets screwy, please let me know. Number two, I have a giant headache, like right above this eye. I took ibuprofen for it, so it's come down a little bit, but sometimes the ibuprofen doesn't work properly. So I will do the best I can to keep on streaming and to have a good old time, forget that it's even there. But if it decides that it's just going to flare up over top of the ibuprofen, I may end up closing the stream a little bit early today. Not likely to happen, but, you know, here's a warning just in case. Okay, so, next thing on the itinerary is today is our second day of modeling the flannel Go flannels. So this is the second flannel that they sent to me. It's a black and white flannel. You can purchase your own lovely flannels at flannelgo.com. This guy is a hoodie. It's got a hood, and it's all like Sherpa-y. It's really warm. I've been wearing it all day. It's kind of cold outside and rainy and wet, and so I love it. I've just been sitting at my desk editing in it. It's very cozy and comfy. So if you are interested in flannels and want to know, or want to get some new flannels, Flannel Go. All right. Let's see. I have already started up the forge because I want to get the big old piece of steel hot so that we can get started pretty quickly. And so that's what we're up to right now. I'm going to put on my apron, so off with the headphones for a moment while I do that. Apologies if my microphone gets like clipped by the apron. I always try and do my best not to clip it, but maybe it will. All right. Looks like we've got an ad that's going to start in about 2 minutes. We'll put this guy back on. Hey, Dan. Welcome, welcome. How have you been? It's been a while since I've seen you in chat. Oh, this is backwards. I can't drink out of it if it's backwards. Welcome, welcome. So today we are going to be continuing working on our axe head. On Monday we started drifting the hammer, or like the hammer handle, the axe handle hole with our axe drift. So we finished up our hold down, and it's working beautifully for this particular axe. So we were going to be continuing to work on finishing that drift all the way through so we can continue shaping and working on our axe. Pinched a nerve in my neck, been out of the shop for 6 weeks. Ooh. I think I would be so sad and depressed if I had to be out of the shop for that long. I mean, it's bad enough that the last few years I haven't been able to get out here. I just don't think that I could handle being injured again and out of the shop. So hopefully that gets all nice and healed up for you really, really quickly. That way you can get back in the shop and get back to work. Let's see. What else is going on? I am almost finished up with next week's video. This week's video posted this morning at 10 a.m. It is about finishes. I ended up doing a video on some of my favorite finishes for blacksmith work. Um, so that's spray paint, paste wax, um, seasoning for food safe items, as well as brassing. So I did get a comment that said that Johnson's paste wax, which is the paste wax that's featured in that video, is no longer being made. So I went and I looked, and there is other paste wax. Minwax does a paste wax. And it looks like we're in the middle of an ad, so I will repeat that once the ad is done. How we doing on our heat? We're doing pretty good. Still not all the way hot, but you know. Stitch silent. Everyone shush, my show is on. Hey. Hello, welcome to the stream. Welcome in, welcome. Back from my internet deprivation. Man, I don't know if I could do an internet deprivation. I mean, I am so chronically online. If I am not actively streaming, I'm watching YouTube or scrolling through Facebook or TikTok. I feel like I'm kind of, you know, the internet is my lifeline. My ISP decided to be weird over a week. Ugh, that stinks. Hey, Mahalo, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Hello, everyone. We're just getting started. All right. So, like I said, I started in before the ad started up. The video that I posted today on YouTube is about finishes, things that will preserve your finished blacksmith projects, so that they don't rust all over the place. Like I said, we did spray paint, paste wax, brassing, as well as a phone call. No, okay, it's a missed call now. Anyway, the last one is seasoning for, you know, like pans and things like that. So I did get a comment that Johnson's paste wax, which was the paste wax that I featured in that video, is no longer being made. I knew I should have like looked it up, but I mean, it wasn't that long ago that I got that paste wax. So if you guys are looking for paste wax, there are still paste waxes that are being made. Apparently, Minwax now makes a paste wax. So I have not tried that one personally, but I hope that it works just as well as the Johnson version of it. And yesterday they kept forwarding me to a consultant, and then the consultant would keep hanging up, and they just could stall for time and go home early. Ugh. I remember several months ago, in like the beginning of the summer, I had to fight my own ISP. I had fine internet connection, my speed was beautiful, and then it would suddenly just drop. And it turned out that there was just like a bunch of static in the lines, and so they were able to replace all of the lines from my house and the box all the way to the street. And so we were finally able to get stable internet, and we have not had any issues since. Knock on wood, because you know, the second if I get excited about that, something screwy will happen. So I'm glad that your internet is back up and running. Like I said, I feel like the internet is like attached to me by an umbilical cord or something. I mean, right now I'm on the internet, right? So next week's video is, I think it's going to be a special one. So next week's YouTube video. Greetings, Ping. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So next week's video, when I went over to Quad State a couple weeks ago, I think it's almost a month ago now. Yes, I am on the internet. Yeah, so when we were at Quad State, almost a month ago now, I was able to talk to Ed and Brian Brazil. And so we did an interview with each of them. And so I put together the two interviews that I had into a cohesive video. And so that is the video that is coming out next week. So I am super, super excited about that one. Ed and Brian Brazil are amazing tool makers and amazing ornamental blacksmiths. They have taught so many amazing people. They are the ones who taught Alex Steele from Alex Steele's YouTube channel. And so I'm super excited that I got to talk with them. And so my video for next week is that interview. So I'm super excited. They are fun to work with too. They were so kind, so nice. Unfortunately, I didn't do, like, the show is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. So I just did not have enough time to get everything I had planned done. So unfortunately, I was unable to do any blacksmithing with them. I just got a chance to talk with them. So next year, I definitely want to go a little bit earlier so that we can, do some stuff, some more active hands-on stuff and less talking. Well, I mean, maybe the same amount of talking, but, more active and talking. Quad State is so much fun. Yeah, I had a blast. I'm definitely planning on going again next year. It's going to be a high priority on my list of different events that I want to get to. Alrighty, let's take a look at our steel. Are we hot enough? Yes, we are. So we are, like I said, we are going to be continuing to drift the handle hole for our axe. So let's change the camera view so you guys can see what's going on, and then we'll get started. All right, move that over there so I have room to put it. Put it down just like so. Fold down. This side. Oh, don't forget. Don't forget. Put some lube in there. That wasn't really powdery, but that might be. There we go. Let's do this. All right. We're getting there. I want to put this back in the heat. We're going to flip it upside down to go from the opposite side. I want these guys to meet in the middle. And of course, we have to drop something. At least it's the hammer this time and not the axe blank. That's improvement, right? More, I guess. Been longer than that, I thought. Did I miss something? I did. Get to know the chain gang if you can. Good guys, they're fun. I mean, maybe it's been a month, like a whole month. I don't know that for sure. I do know, though, that I have 2 videos out, and I've been doing them every other week. So it probably has been about a month. Yeah, it had to have been because it was September 25th that weekend. So I guess it has been about a month. That's crazy. This month has flown by. Oh, guys, something exciting happened on Monday. I'm super happy and super excited. So there is a cash threshold that Twitch pays out. Um, and if you don't meet that threshold in a month, they kind of roll it over to the next month, and they will pay you once you reach that threshold. So normally, like lately, I've been paying or being paid about every 2 months because we were getting about slightly over the half of that threshold every month through subscriptions, gifts, bits, and donations, etc. Anyway, this month on Monday, we hit the threshold. I'm so super excited. That is the first time that has happened. I am so grateful. Thank you guys so much for that support. That is so exciting. And I'm really floored. I just never really thought that I would be able to do that here on Twitch. When I first started, I was just like, I'm just gonna see what happens, and here we are. It's been almost a year, and I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so grateful for all of your support. Feels amazing, clap, yes. Corwin, did I ask you if you were a Roger Zelensky fan? Oh, that's actually an emote. Mahalo. I can see the emote in my Twitch panel, but not on my OBS panel for some reason. I have all of the little emote plugins attached. That's kind of weird. But yeah, I'm super excited, and I am super grateful for all of you guys' continued support. Just from viewing as well as all of your monetary support. So I also get a lot of money from advertisements. So just watching the ads helps me. Corwin is a major character in one of his novels. Interesting. I am an avid reader, but I read YA fantasy novels, and I know some of you actually know what that means, and so somewhat, yes, I like the little teeny bopper romances, but it's more like I want to be able to tell, or to know what the ending is going to be within the first chapter. And usually those fantasy romance novels, like the young adult ones, are so predictable that I know the end within the first chapter, and I just like to. It's soothing for my brain to just watch it all play out. Sci-fi. Sometimes I do read sci-fi because there is a lot of sci-fi that is very similar to fantasy. I prefer fantasy personally, mostly because I have this like weird, or not a weird thing, but I really enjoy the elves and like dwarves and the halflings and all of the different fantasy races, like the Tolkien races. So, and if you look at things like Star Trek, you get your Tolkien fantasy races in the sci-fi setting, so that's also entertaining, and I really enjoy. I really enjoy sci-fi TV shows. Like I love my Star Trek. I love my Star Wars. I love Firefly, Farscape. Lots of good stories. I love a good story. I need to get back into reading, though. I was really good at it when I first left my job to become a full-time blacksmith. That was prior to my getting sick. And I was reading a whole bunch. And I eventually got to this point where I'm kind of a mood reader, right? I get in these moods where I'm just like, I will consume all of the books that you sit in front of me. But then I just get tired of reading. It's kind of like one of those revolving hobbies. Eventually it always comes back up, but I mean, there's sewing, there's reading, there's like video games, and I just like kind of have this hierarchy of different hobbies, and blacksmithing was among them for a while until I decided that I wanted to go full time. You will love Zelanzi then. I will have to take a look and see if I can't find some of their books. My local library is my book source. Libraries are incredibly important public services, and they need our support. Libraries. All right. Let's do another heat. Whoops. I've done it again. There we go. We are almost all the way through. That's exciting. All right. Back in the fire, mostly because we're going to turn it upside down. Oh, come on. Whatever. I'm going to put this guy back in the fire, and then I'm going to screw around with the hold down. Make sure that I haven't accidentally mushroomed out the bottom of it. I am finally starting to get warm today. Like I said, it's been kind of on the nippy side. I do not do cold very well. The little lip on the bottom that's forming, so let's hammer that down so it's not going to screw up our work. I need to have plenty of space to get the hold down in and out of the pritchel hole. A Banivator, it's a bot. Oh, Mahalo beat me to it. Thank you so much. We don't need to buy bot viewers. We've got plenty of high quality viewers already. Alrighty. So the drift is actually working pretty darn well. I'm also pretty excited about how quickly this is going. As some of you may remember, I drilled a pilot hole into this axe blank, and in hopes that I would be able to stretch out the hole so that I can hand drift it a lot faster. So it's working beautifully. How are things and stuff? Things and stuff are actually doing pretty well. I'm pretty excited overall. I do have a sinus headache that I always get them in the fall when the weather starts to shift from the warm, like, summer into the cooler fall weather. And so I don't know what it is, but I just get these sinus headaches. So I've got one of those. I took some ibuprofen earlier in hopes that I was able to, get rid of it. It hasn't quite gone, but it's gotten a lot better. So I think we should be fine. We should be able to get through this without too much trouble. So let's see, what else has been going on? Yesterday, I picked out a whole bunch of pictures of that. We did a photo shoot last weekend. Yes, it's one of the new flannels that I got. This is black and white flannel, Go flannel. And so yeah, like I was just saying, I picked out the different photos from the photo shoot that we did that I am going to do some minor edits to and then send those off so that I am upholding my end of the deal. And so I'm pretty excited about that. It'll be pretty, it's pretty fun it makes me feel like an influencer, Looks nice and warm and easy to move around in. It is, right? So this is a size medium women's, right? And it's got a zipper and a hood. And ordinarily, like my torso would take a small, but I always end up having to do a medium because I have really long arms. But I'm not having any issues with, the sleeves being too short. So, I mean, that's really good. And my one minor complaint about this thing is that it has a zipper, right? You can see that right here. But this is a women's jacket, right? And most of you guys are guys, so maybe you guys aren't aware, but women's clothes, the zipper is always on the left side. So when I'm putting the little tabby into the zip up part, the tabby is on the left side and not the right side. And I'm right-handed, like I am desperately right-handed. I can barely do anything with my left. And so it makes it a little harder to zip it up and down. But, that's not their fault. That's probably my inherent difficulty. A lot of times I'll buy guy zippy or hoodies and zip ups because it is on the right hand side. Yeah, the buttons are usually backward on women's tops too. I don't know why they do that. So if you're actually interested in the reason why is because wealthy women would always have maids and servants that would button their corsets and their clothing and things. So they put the zippers and buttons on backwards so that they were right-handed for the servants. And they continued that into today's clothing. And I'm also convinced that purse companies are why women's clothes have no pockets. So, you got to make sure that your wife isn't running down the street away from you. You got to weigh her down with a purse. So no pockets for her. Being opposite-handed in clothing is such a weird holdover. It is. The Chronicles of Amber. But yeah. So one of those weird things. And I mean, the other reason I wear guy pants. I know that like some of you were here when I started buying guy pants. And part of the reason why I love buying men's clothes now too is that men's clothes, when it says what size it is, it means it, right? So I'll see, I think I wear like a size 28-30 in men's. And so when I look at the men's pants, I see 28-30. I pick it up off the shelf. I try it on in the dressing room, and they fit. They fit. But when I go into the women's section, I can go to J.C. Penney's and a size 3 fits me. But I go to like Dillard's or something and I get a size 3 and they're too small. And then I go to like Macy's and I get a size 3 and they're huge. I don't know. Women's clothes, the sizes are like, it's like, whose line is it anyway? The sizes don't matter, and anyway. Or because men would hold all the cash, so women weren't allowed pockets. I mean, maybe. Maybe. We did ban hat pins from women for a while because women were stabbing assaulter or people who assaulted them, and it was causing problems. Yeah, I taught my niece to always try on clothes because women's sizes are all over the place. Yes. And I mean, maybe it is juniors versus women's, but even the same store, the same size, 1 month versus another month, it's different. I feel like it's just, they just periodically change it just a little bit. Before I changed to men's pants, I used to go to J.C. Penney all the time, and I would buy their Arizona jeans in size 3. Most of the time they fit, but every once in a while they were too small, and I just never understood. All right, we've got an ad upcoming in about 3 minutes, so I'm going to do one more heat, and we'll see. It should be able to get it done before the ad starts. So let's race the ad. We'll move that there so I don't have to worry about that. All right, I think we are about where we need to be. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to put this guy back in the forge. We're going to heat it up again, turn it upside down, and then instead of doing this on the face of the anvil, we're going to start working on the hardy, because I think pretty soon we're going to reach the bottom. So I think that's my plan for my next heat. This way. And because we're going to go over to the hardy, I think I'm going to change our angle on the camera. Trivia, first song played on MTV. Video killed the radio star. If I remember correctly. And I'm not old enough to have been around then, but I used to play a video game called Dance Dance Revolution by the Bungles. Yeah. So I used to play this game called Dance Dance Revolution when I was in like a freshman in college. And one of the songs on one of the versions of Dance Dance Revolution that you would dance to was Video Killed the Radio Star, and they had like these little trivia bits about the different songs in the game files. And so they said like that trivia bit was that it was the first song ever played on MTV. So, you know, I learned a thing. So, speaking of music, I know some of you have said that you guys are like metal or fans of metal music. So what do you guys think about the band Sleep Token? Do you guys consider that metal? And if I don't get any answers, I'll just repeat it or repeat my question, and then we can discuss it. I recently stumbled across Sleep Token on YouTube. I need to move this. I apologize for the weird bumps and stuff. There we go. That's better. So I've listened to a couple of their songs. I don't know. We've got about 30 seconds left in this ad, and then we'll see. We'll see what we can do after that. So some of you guys have told me that you are metal fans, like metal music. What was the famous one-hit wonder from the band M? I don't know. I don't know that I've heard of the band M. I might have heard of the song, but a lot of times I don't connect the artist with the music until someone tells me. But I mean, you know, I do listen to a lot of one-hit wonders. But yeah, I recently came across a band that I was under the impression that they were like an alternative or a metal band, and this band is called Sleep Token. So I don't know if I believe that they are alternative or pop music. Is this working? What's working? Am I frozen? It doesn't look like I'm frozen. But yeah, so I'm very much like that Don't Ask Me, a band or a singer. Oh, the stream is fine. Good. Awesome. Every time someone mentions, every time someone mentions something like weird and sort of negative, I always wonder, your messages aren't coming through. Well, I'm glad that they are now. Mahalo has never heard of Sleep Token. A lot of you haven't heard of it. Okay. They're kind of strange because they have this weird, like, their songs are really long. They're like 8 to 10 minutes long, and part of them oftentimes is metal, and then another part of the song is like EDM almost. Yeah, 2-man electric. So I don't know. It's odd. I haven't decided if I like them or if I don't. But I have one of their songs stuck in my head, and I don't even know which one it is. I think maybe it's Gethsemane. It's a weird. They have some weird lore associated with them too. I'm good with if you want to wear costumes or masks or like paint, but their lore is a little bit. I don't know. I don't know if I like it. What do you guys think? If who or those of you who know what I'm talking about. Rick Beto featured them this week. So they make GS live people used to 5, 6, 7 minutes. People's attention span have diminished so much. They have, but I mean, I feel like people like Taylor Swift and I mean Sleep Token and I mean also like if you go back further, you got Queen. There have always been these like musicians who do songs that are like really, really long. And I mean, a lot of them, they just can't do the full song, so they don't want to radio play a 10-minute song, but yeah. I've heard The Summoning by Sleep Token. Not too bad. Kind of a mix of metal and progressive rock. See, that's kind of what I think. But it's like, I don't know if I like them because, like I said, there's a little bit of like EDM, like intermingled in with like the alternative rhythmic progression or whatever. And I do love EDM. It's like one of my favorite genres. And I mean, I was an emo queen back in high school, so like I don't dislike alternative and metal and things like that. It's just not my favorite genre. So I really don't know if I like this new band. My favorite band is Yes, and their songs are 18 minutes. I think I've only heard one Yes song, and I couldn't even name the title of it. Probably like their hit, like one of their hits is probably the only one that I've heard. I know that I've heard of that band though. My tablet keyboard likes to mess me up. Mine does too. Like I don't have a tablet, but like the keyboard on my phone always screws up on me. Roundabout. That's probably it. That's probably it. If I had to pinpoint and name my favorite musician, I would probably tell you Taylor Swift, right? A lot of you know that I'm a big Taylor fan. I went to see her in Kansas City a couple years ago on her Eras tour. You know, you know, the whole shebang. But her pop, and just pop in general isn't my favorite genre of music. I absolutely love EDM. Like, I love the old school, like Armin van Buuren and Ocean Lab and like all of these like really old school like EDM. I love that stuff. And some of the Sleep Token stuff has a little bit of that quality in it. Close to the Edge by Yes is a 1 album side long. Oh my goodness. I've been having issues for the past 45 minutes with the messages not coming through. That sucks. I'm sorry, Corwin. They had a huge album called 90125. Is that a zip code that's near LA? No. I think the LA zip code is 90210. Isn't that what it is? CTTE is the greatest album of all time. I don't know. I might have to argue with you. I don't know. I probably haven't heard that one all the way through though, so I do have some major favorites though. I mean, come on, you can't count out Queen. Dark Side of the Moon by, you know. All right, let's do another heat. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. We're gonna move this. We're gonna put it over here so that it's still around but not super in the way. We're gonna put this right here. See how well this goes. cool this guy down a bit. Starting to glow a little bit, so I want to make sure that I keep it nice and cool. All right, we got a little bit left to do to get all the way through. I am going to heat it up a little bit further and flip it over. I know, I'm taking way too long to do this, but time and patience. 90210 is real. It is real. It is real. Safety fourth, yes. Magic fire. So last time I was punching a hole in our hammer that we made. It was this one right here. So last time we punched a hole, I got the hole punch stuck in the hammer head while we were drifting it open. And I got a whole bunch of comments from you guys, as well as, will the axe be completed in time to smash zombies? I don't know. Probably not, because Halloween is Friday. It's not going to be complete on Friday. But yeah, so I am using crushed up coal to create a lube, because that's what people on both YouTube and here on Twitch told me made a really good lubrication for drifts. So that's what that, like, the little flame is from. It's because I keep putting coal inside the hole, and so the coal starts burning. And it does actually unbind the drift, though. It works beautifully. So yeah, I don't think that this axe will be done on time for Halloween, unfortunately. Graphite is an excellent lubricant. Yeah, I mean, this coal dust works just like graphite. And so that's kind of, what we're doing a little bit. Lubricating the drift so that it'll slide all the way through and we won't get it stuck when we want to pull it out. So what we're doing right now is we keep flipping the piece, or like the head, the axe blank upside down, and we're coming at it with the drift on both sides. And I use it inside locks. That's a good use for it. So the drift is tapered. So as I hammer it in, it is shoving the hole for the handle wider and wider. And I'm going at it from both sides because I want to create an hourglass hole through the axe head. And when I was talking to Ed and Brian Brazil, the Brazil brothers, they were talking about how the shape of the handle hole in a piece of steel, or like in a hammer, really affects how well it sits the handle sits in that hole. And so you really want to pay attention to the geometry of your handle hole. Otherwise, you're going to stress the wood and you're going to constantly be breaking handles. So they tend to do an hourglass shaped hole, and so I figured I'd try that. So that's what we're doing today. Graphite is the secret lubricant for Pinewood Derby cars. My siblings did a Pinewood Derby race when they were kids, and we used a little bit of graphite. I also use it for drawing. When I was in drawing class, I would use a little bit of graphite to kind of shade in things. Welcome to the stream, Bluesy. Welcome, welcome. I feel like you're here early today. Did your class get done early today? But yeah, welcome in. Welcome, welcome. I know for a fact that I have plenty of gas in that bottle, but for some reason it feels like the sound got a little quieter, and I'm not entirely sure why. I don't know. All right, I am gonna unzip my jacket here because it is starting to get a little bit warm. No, one of my students died yesterday, so we did not have the class. Oh, that is really sad. I'm sorry. That is not cool. Understandable that you wouldn't have the class. Got some goo in the regulator. Probably not. I don't usually, allow it to sit in a place where it would get goo in it. I pulled my jacket out around my apron, and now I want to tuck it into my apron. I don't know what the difference is. Well, it's part of farm life. I mean, yes. But, I mean, people are different than animals, or at least I would imagine it would be. Yeah, I don't know. Is your tank frozen up? Maybe. Not completely frozen, but definitely cold. It is colder out today, so I mean, I probably have to start thinking about that. I frequently turn the regulator valve up and down to clear it out. Yeah. I think it's actually just that it's cold. I have a couple other tanks that I might have to switch out to. You can sit it in a tub of water to prevent it from freezing. I mean, yeah, I could, but that's a really big tub of water. Farmers are 8 times more likely to die than civilians. I mean, is that because of like farm equipment? I mean, they do work really, really hard. I think it'll be okay. I will wait. It's not puffing yet, and so when it does puff, I'll switch out the tanks. All die. Yeah, I mean, everyone does die eventually. It's kind of one of those, inevitabilities. Farming is a dangerous job. Yes, equipment also tends to, and some tend to fall asleep. Yeah. I mean, that's understandable too. All right, I'm going to do another heat. There is a Broadway show called Avenue Q. And there's a song in that one called Only for Now. Everything is only for now except for death and taxes. All right, here we go. almost all the way through on this. I want it to be nice and hot for when we get through it, though, because I need it to push all of the material outwards. And it'll be easier if it's nice and hot. The PTO is one of the biggest culprits of danger to farmers. Indeed, Blacksmith Dan, he does not have a PTO accident, though. His tractor just slid down a slope and fell over, and he was unlucky and ended up under it. Ooh. That's not cool. But yeah, I mean, accidents like that do happen. Unfortunately. No, not cool, but it happens. Yeah. Power takeoff. Okay. That's a more understandable acronym meaning for PTO in this context. And we are farmers are not well paid, sadly. Yeah, I feel like farmers should be paid a lot more than they are, because I mean, without farmers, where would we be? We wouldn't be able to eat. Farmers are like the base of society. Without them, we don't get to eat. So I feel like farmers need to be paid a fair wage. Hey, Christy, welcome to the stream. Yes, but no one would be able to buy food. I mean, that's also true. But I mean, government subsidies. Everyone deserves a living wage. Tractor PTOs can pull the human body through a 2-inch slot without, oh wow, that's crazy. Farmers pay my wages indirectly, buying our products. Yeah. A lot of the Iowa economy is based on farming, and the different companies and stuff that farmers need to purchase things from, like Deere and Case, or I guess Case isn't, I don't think they do farming work anymore. Caterpillar. I think most Case and Caterpillar is now like, well, Case doesn't exist anymore. But I think Caterpillar is more like construction equipment now. Still, though, universal living wage. All right. That's all I'll say, because that is what I just said. Universal living wage is getting a little bit too close to politics. Case, New Holland International Harvester does farming equipment. Does it? I guess the reason that I thought Case didn't was gone was because they moved the Case plant out of the Quad Cities, which is like where I'm from originally. So it's the John Deere headquarters, and then Case was there for a really long time. Farmers do use construction equipment. I think they do. Some. I guess do farmers use a lot of backhoes and things like that? Dump trucks? I mean, I guess you would use something similar to a dump truck for your harvesting. University of Iowa used the ANF acronyms in ads. America needs farmers. Stay away from John Deere. Yes, we do. Okay, so you do use like backhoes and dump trucks and things like that. CNH has a big plant in Nebraska and also Brazil. Yeah, like I said, they moved out of the Quad Cities, which is the junction between Iowa and Illinois, where the Mississippi River runs east to west. It's the little bump out. And the area is Rock Island, Moline, Davenport, and Bettendorf. And then there's a whole bunch of other towns that are around those four that claim that they're Quad Cities. And so now it's like 6 or 7 cities. That's where I'm from originally. I don't live there anymore, though. All right, we're going to keep on with this tank, but I think within the next half an hour or so, we'll probably have to change tanks. Usually we do a lot with our tractors, but there are trailers with backhoe attachments and such, but backhoes are just so handy. The Quad Cities and the little kiddos. I mean, probably. All right, let's check the camera, make sure that, okay, I do need to change my view a little bit. Yeah, I left the Quad Cities to go to Southern Illinois University in Edwardsville, Illinois. And I kind of stayed near here, not exactly here, but near here. Let me focus my camera real fast as I trip over my light. There we go. There was a set of mini blinds over there, and the Quad City DJs aren't from the Quad Cities. Interesting. Yeah, get stuck with your tractor. You'll be happy you have a backhoe in your barn somewhere. I imagine. We're gonna do a heat real fast. We're gonna try and beat the ad that's gonna be happening in about 2 minutes. Fingers crossed I can make this happen. Or I'm gonna drop my piece and then we're gonna have problems and issues and whatnot. That works too, right? You guys don't mind. We're all the way through now. Both of the holes have met, but there's like a little piece of there's a little piece in the middle that's kind of obstructing, and I need to knock it out, but it's getting caught. So I need to open up the hole a little bit bigger so that it'll fall out. Let's put this back in the forge. Did you put a dent in your axe when it fell? I did not. Not yet, anyway. Welcome in, Yankee. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining us. If you don't know who the QC DJs are, don't feel bad. They were late 90s one-hit wonder. Yeah, I don't know that I know of them. I feel like growing up in the Quad Cities, though, I should have heard of them at least, in passing. So hopefully we'll be able to, within the next heat or two, knock the little piece that's in the middle out, so that we can start really laying in and expanding the hammer hole. They had a song called "Come On, Ride the Train," hip hop dance song. Yeah, I think that's a little before my time. Or when I, got into hip hop and rap, R&B. I have found that I only really like R&B and rap when it's after 2 in the morning. And I can tell you guys the story of that, but I will probably wait until after the ad break. Because, going through the story and being halfway done when the ad ends is going to be a little bit weird and awkward. Oop, done with water. Next water. You like rhythm and blues. It's only awkward if you make it awkward. After all, that's what rhythm and blues originally stands for. So I like R&B in like where the musicians are singing, right? So I like, Boys to Men and Beyonce and Rihanna and like some of the more classics like Diana Ross and Marvin Gaye and things like that, right? I like R&B, but when you go for like rap and the more talking ones, I really only like it after 2 in the morning. It's got a really solid beat and it keeps my brain active and awake when I have to work after 2 a.m. And I know that because I used to work at a inflatables company. So it was this company that rented out inflatables to event spaces. And so we would have to go all across the country and set up and run these inflatables and like kind of help mind the kids. And then when the event was done, we would have to drive back to the shop. And so occasionally you get to the point where it'd be like 2 in the morning and you were like cleaning up the truck and putting things back in the warehouse. And that is the perfect time to listen to rap. R&B is like B.B. King, the Blues Brothers. That's blues. I mean, I guess in the 90s, rhythm and blues is or R&B is what they call like, anything that's like closer to rhythm and blues than pop is. So I don't know. I feel like the designation or like the genre designations for music has a tendency to float over time. So I don't think that R&B today is the same as R&B used to be. But yeah. All right, let's do another heat. We'll see how far we can make it. Yeah. Ran into the post vise. Whoa. I almost missed my drift and hit my hand. That would not have been pleasant. I've been doing really good not hitting my hand. All right. Keep on keeping on. Just trying to expand the hole at this point. We want to bring the whole thing up the drift, widen out that hole so that we can kind of work on the edges and start shaping the blade of this axe. Right now our blank is really, really fat. We are going to start tapering it, but I need to get it onto the drift so that it holds the edges while we're working on things, making sure that everything lines up. R&B in the 70s was James Brown, The Temptations, and the Isley Brothers, Marvin Gaye, and Barry White. I am just 25 with 50 years of experience. Yeah, them too. Isn't the lesson 1 in blacksmithing class not to hit your hand? I don't know that it's lesson 1, but it's probably practical lesson 1. I was actually I missed my hand, but I also chipped the corner. I hit the corner of the drift. So while I didn't hit my hand, it was close. So I'm glad that I was able to, hit the drift, even if it's in the little corner. Safety third, yes. Safety third. Otherwise, you don't get anything done. We're not preventing injury, we are delaying injury and making sure that we minimize the injury. So, the less damage is done. So, yeah. So we've been talking about different genres of music and just a couple different pieces of music, but what are you guys' favorite bands and favorite genres of music? Do you have anyone special that you really like to listen to, like on a loop or anything like that? Shake hands with danger. Yes. So, as many of you know, I have a cat. Well, I used to have a dog, and she passed away last summer. And we name our animals really odd things. So, my cat's name is Tungsten Trouble Cat. So it's like Tungsten Tea Cat, and when you read the Tungsten Tea Cat, it's like Tungsten the Cat, but it's Trouble. His middle name is Trouble. Well, our dog, her name was Jade D Dog because it was Jade Danger Dog. So Danger was her middle name. So I don't have Danger as my middle name, but my dog's middle name was Danger. Metallica, Live, Black Sabbath, Rush, Skynyrd, and for church music, Hillsong United and Delirious. Okay. I played quite a bit of Hillsong when I was in the church band. Back when I was in high school, I played with our church band. I played congas, which was or drums, whichever we were, because we traveled sometimes, and sometimes I'd play the drums, sometimes I'd play congas. But like I said, we played a lot of Hillsong, so But Metallica and Black Sabbath, I mean, that's respectable music, It's not my favorite, but I understand why people like it. Well, I like harder music, metal, hard rock, blues rock, and stuff like that. Cool. So when you say metal, is that Are you into like the death metal, or is it more closer to like Metallica and that sort of metal? Of course, blues is nice as well. I really like blues. I love the blues that you get where it's like improvisation. That's so beautiful. Like the trumpeters and the different soloists. There's like pianists and trumpeters. The drums. Saxophones. I love that. So complex and so ingenious. I mean, the math involved. Do you guys like Rammstein? I think that's like a metal band that I am aware of. There's also baby metal. I'm aware of baby metal. Like I said, I'm not a big metal fan, so I guess I'm not as versed in it. But you guys can tell me about it. Country is another genre that I like, especially 90s. See, I enjoy 90s country and then country from like the 80s and the 70s, right? But I don't really like modern country. It's not the same. I feel like modern country is just pop music and with a little bit of twang. Death metal, hair metal, and everything in between. Interesting. I don't know that I would have pegged you for a metal fan, Bluesy, but I mean, learn something new every day. Like I said, I'm really into EDM and pop. My pop princess, my favorite one is Taylor. I'm going to do another heat. Oh, I did hit my hand that time, just barely. Barely tapped it. All right. We get this hot again. So another genre of music that I've really been getting into recently is when Taylor gets married, we'll have to chip in to get Ray a Taylor Kelsey jersey. Nah, it's not going to be Taylor Kelsey. It's going to be Travis Swift. Just had to make sure that was really your hand. I mean, I barely touched it, but I did. It's a little bit red there, but it doesn't even hurt anymore. Hey, Lexi. Welcome to the stream. You're up early. So yeah, another genre of music that I've really been getting into recently is K-pop. Maybe some of you guys have heard of K-pop Demon Hunters. Rammstein was originally not even a rock band, were they? I only know of them from like that one song. I don't even remember what it's called. But yeah, I really liked Blackpink a couple years ago. They had some really good music, and then it was really cool to watch K-pop Demon Hunters. I was like super excited to see that movie. I thought that it was going to be a TV show though. Netflix kind of like tricked me. I thought it was going to be a TV show, and I was really looking forward to it. And then it turned out it was an hour and a half movie. The music was great, way better than I expected. But I think the music is better than the movie. My kids liked that for a while. Du Hast. Yes, Du Hast is the only Rammstein song that I know. Mutter or Du Hast or Engel. I probably have heard those other two as well, but I think Du Hast is the one that I remember specifically. I just remember going to an anime convention like way back in the day when that song first came out, and there were just like people jumping around like singing it or screaming it. Way back in like 05 or 6. You're Free. I don't think I've heard that one. When people of America think Rammstein, it almost always is Du Hast. Yeah, but that's the one that like I think that it was featured on like MTV or something like that. Or was it in a movie? I think there was one in a movie at one point. Yeah. So. But yeah, I do. I'm a big pop fan and a big EDM fan. EDM has changed so much though. We've gone from like just straight EDM from like the 80s and the 90s, and now we have like there are so many mini genres of EDM. I can't keep track anymore. Have you seen what it's called? Triple X. Yes, that's probably where I had seen it from. The Vin Diesel movie. Commercials too. Yes. The first time I watched Triple X was with my Aunt Kathy. She really had a thing for Vin Diesel. Oh, that was Fear Free? Maybe. So maybe I know both of those, and I just thought they were the same song. Like I said, I'm not amazingly up on my metal sound or like music, so I could totally be. It could totally be that I've heard both of those songs and thought they were the same song. Rustling up a cup of coffee. Well, you better. Man, what are you doing here without coffee? Up that early? I can't imagine. One of the wrestlers came out to Du Hast. He was supposed to be booed, but I can't boo that. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna do another heat. Hopefully. Probably. And then after this heat, I am going to move our camera angle once again. Oh, come on, I put lube in there. Oh, come on. Don't be bad. All right, let's see. Is it going to come out? I can see the plug in there. We're going to see about keeping it on this side, and we'll get that plug out of there shortly. I don't know if you guys can see it from the camera right there, but it's towards the bottom. It should fall out shortly. It's now being nice. Song lyrics. We're getting there. We've got quite a bit of the drift inside of the hole, so we are more than halfway through on the one side. So I'm going to continue working on that side, trying to expand that top end of the blank so that we get that lovely hourglass shaped handle hole that we're looking for. I want to fatten it up a little bit and make sure that we've got a workable handle so that we can start shaping the blade. Twitch karaoke. Do they let you do karaoke anymore? There used to be a Twitch karaoke like game that you could play. And then I feel like they took it down at one point. And I know that there are still people who do karaoke on Twitch, but I feel like it's like a different game. Goodness. And then I think, so I watch a lot of VTubers on both YouTube and on Twitch. And there is a corporate VTuber company called Hollow Live. And a lot of their VTubers will do like karaoke streams. And they do unarchived ones where they just don't save the VOD of the stream. The emotes are still here. Twitch Sings has been retired a couple years. Yeah. Oh, those are emotes from Twitch Sings. Okay. It's just wedding vows and the man saying no. That would be bad. I mean, you'd be in the middle of your wedding and people would be like, will you take this woman to be your lawful wedded wife? And the guy be like, no. That would be embarrassing. That would be worse than being ghosted at the altar, I feel like. But I don't feel like anyone would do something like that unless you had done something first. So, like, maybe if one of them had, like, cheated or something, that would also be something bad to find out on your wedding day. I don't know what is with this shirt, but it keeps riding up, and now I feel like the microphone is like touching my neck every so often. So I apologize if my mic is popping. 9. How are we doing on our heat? We could use a little bit more time, I think. Yeah. So yeah. I feel like metal is more of a popular genre of music in Europe than it is here in the United States. I feel like there is a fan base here in the United States, but I don't know that there are any radio stations that play like straight metal music, like alternative, but not metal. And I feel like you'd have to go towards like a digital radio channel for that. And but I'm always hearing about metal musicians from like YouTube channels and stuff from Europe, where like the owner of the channel is European. Trust me, Ray, in the armed forces, metal is big. See, I mean, I'm not surprised, right? I wouldn't be surprised by that. But my experience with the people who I know that were in the military or are in the military, metal, they don't talk about metal. So I only have the experience I have. I do miss the discotheques in Germany when I was there in the mid-90s. That was fun. Metal is on Sirius XM. See, that's a satellite radio. That's not like your local radio station. You know? Like in the Quad Cities, they had like an alternative station, but it was more like 9 Inch Nails and Red Hot Chili Peppers and not metal. I feel like the alternative radio stations in like this area as well as in the Quad Cities where I grew up, like the alternative stations aren't really like alternative. They're just more poppy, I guess. But more rock and roll poppy, I guess. I don't know. I'm going to try and beat this ad with another heat. We're going to try really hard to get that plug out of there. It's not even like it's that big of a plug because we did start with that pilot hole. But there's just a little bit of one at that bottom there. Whoops. Well, that was a little bit more than that previous hammer blow on my hand. It was on my wrist, so not amazingly fun, but it'll be all right. Let's pick this guy up. Can I get you in there? Are you going to be all right? Maybe. Trying to keep this as cool as possible, so I'm probably ending my drifts a little bit too quickly. All right. You can see the plug just at that bottom there, so I'm going to keep on keeping on this side in hopes that it'll fall out, and then it'll make it a lot easier to go through that hole all the way. I feel like I'm dragging my feet a little bit on this. You cannot imagine how heavy life can be, and if you're under fire, metal keeps your head straightish. Yeah, I can imagine that. There's a lot going on, especially if you are in live combat. You know, you do whatever you have to in order to keep sane and be able to survive. Beat with the Heat sounds like a Blacksmith metal album. Yes. I agree. Or remount the hole with the drift. Metal all the way. We're going to get it open. Open the hole all the way. I want to get it about halfway up the drift. Yeah, so I want to open it and have it be about, or hang about here. And then eventually I wanted to open it more, but I'm going to stop at about the halfway point. That way I have enough area to work the rest of the material. and it won't open too much. We're getting there. So we are in the middle of another ad break. I'm going to move the camera just so that I get another more differenty view. Oh, good timing because it just stopped recording. There we go. That's better. If I can get out of this doorway without tripping and falling, that would make me a happy camper. Coolios. My ad break has ended. Yay! So I've changed the camera angle, so hopefully we'll get, more interesting and entertaining views of this. But yeah. Who made that punch? I bought my punch and drift at Quad State last year from Dave Custer. I made this guy. So it's probably not the best drift you could use, but I made it, and, it is what it is. Coolio, no, that's a rap. Yes, Coolio is a rapper. Nice. Yeah, I made this drift. We made this on stream a few weeks ago. I don't even know how many weeks ago. Probably 3 weeks ago. And yeah, it's working pretty well for the most part. I might regret it later, but right now it's working beautifully. Punch, I make that myself. Fruit and alcohol, or this type of punch, right? Punch. Although a punch like this, not so much. You want to keep it open hand so that you don't injure your fingers. Keep spending most of our lives living in a blacksmith paradise. Yeah. Coolio and LL Cool J and Ice Cube. And then we have iced tea and vanilla ice. Ice baby, anyone? See, we don't have the ice here. It's very hot in the blacksmith area. Let's see. That's Amish Paradise from Weird Al. Yeah. Weird Al is awesome. Like, the care and the care that he takes in parodying all of this music, and like, it's incredible. The way Weird Al is able to manipulate the English language to still maintain like the feel of the song while parodying it, and it's insane. It's amazing. I was talking to the butler in the car the other day, and we were talking about how modern masters in poetry right now is, on one end we have Taylor Swift, who's like, the modern Emily Dickinson, and on the other hand we have Weird Al, who is like the modern Shakespeare. Because Shakespeare was all about jokes and parody and fart jokes. Shakespeare was all about satire. So yeah. And it's like, you know, there's a lot of people who are like, I am too high and mighty to listen to Weird Al. And I mean, it's true. I'm not really a singing comedian person, but I mean, Weird Al. I gotta give him props. As I said, he's a bard. Yeah. Like I said, I gotta give him props. I gotta give him props. If I'm gonna give Taylor props, I gotta give Weird Al props too. They both deserve their laurels. Now we need to do a blacksmith parody of songs. I mean, we could totally do that. Or we could do that meme where you replace the one word in like a movie title and add something that's related to blacksmithing or metal. Let's do another heat. That could be a whole other genre in our pun section on the Discord, right? Come on, get out of there. There it goes. Let's cool down this drift. It's so close to being out of there, guys. So close. I can see it at the bottom. Oh, it's gone. It's on the floor now. Or maybe that's it. Is that it? I don't know. That might actually be it. I think this right there is what's left of that plug. You got to remember, though, that I actually put a pilot hole in here. So it was going to always be two little plugs. So you can kind of see in there and you can see it all the way through now. So now is the time to kind of go all the way through now. Super exciting. Let's heat this up again. If I can pick it up. Well, if Taylor is still big in 40 years, sure. Don't forget Weird Al is 66. Don't make me feel old. Well, the only reason that one of the main reasons that I try to give Taylor her props is because they have classes dedicated to Taylor's music at Harvard and Oxford. And there are college level courses that study her poetry. I mean, there is some amazing stuff. She's been around for 20 years. I mean, she still has a long career ahead of her. And I mean, she has a giant discography, even if she never makes another song. But there's some amazing stuff in her discography. He's 9 years younger than I am. And remember, Corwin, you're only 18. You just happen to have a few years of experience. Well, you know, in August, I just turned 39 for the first time. And I'm gonna be 39 until I can no longer pull it off. You know, eventually I will have to admit that I'm older than 39, but I mean, I only have one gray hair right now, so I think it's going to be a while that I can continue to pull off being 39. Last month I had my 25th annual 25th birthday party. Ooh. 25th birthday parties are fun. Although I don't think I had a 25th birthday party. I think I just worked. I admit I'm 44. See, I feel like I'm on the young side of our viewership nowadays. Like, when I first started thinking about streaming, I thought I was going to be way too old to stream because I originally, when I was thinking about streaming, I was going to do gaming. And because I do a lot of MMO gaming. And I was like, I'm just too old for that, you know? But here, I feel like we've got people who are really young and people who are, you know, very, very well aged and, you know, very expensive wines, you know, aged to perfection. So I feel like I'm a little on the young side. Hey kiddo, I'm Gray, but I maintain that I'm 21. Okay, I have 54 years of experience at it. See, that's how it works, right? Yeah. The other day I noticed the gray hair and I was like, you know what? I could just pluck that out and then it wouldn't be there. And then I was like, you know what? I don't care. It can just stay there. I feel like if I pluck it out, then I'll get like 2 more though. So, you know, I got a couple here and there. Leave it. 48 is great. Yeah, so I'm just like, you know, if I get gray hairs, I get gray hairs. Maybe one day all of my hairs will be gray, and that might actually be cool. You know, gray or white hair, that silver age, that's gorgeous. I love that. Silver and gray hair on women, salt and pepper on a guy. Yeah. All right, let's do another heat. Gray is distinguished. Yes. Definitely. Definitely. This is just going to be one of those times, you know? It just wants to stay in there forever and ever. Ouch. It's falling out. What just happened? I can't see my grays through the purple. Was there a blip in the stream? I just got a pop-up that said OBS has successfully reconnected. I don't know. There's something screwed. I mean, it is storming, so there was an interruption. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. We are experiencing some stormy weather outside, and occasionally, you know, it had to be. No, it was me. I didn't notice it at first, but yeah, it said that my OBS disconnected and it reconnected successfully. So I don't know if there was like a little blip in my internet or, you know, if it's OBS. Like I said earlier today, OBS has, there's an update that's queued to, and so it might act a little bit funny. It didn't, I tried to update and it did not successfully update for whatever reason. So, you know, I try. I hope I can get it, or I think I can get it updated for Friday's stream, but that also means that Friday's stream might have a few bugs or like a few like some scuff, because I usually get a little bit of sound scuff when OBS updates. So hopefully it's not too bad and we can get whatever it is worked out. But yeah, I'm sorry. I hope you guys can see well now. So now that we have the plug outside of this axe blank, I'm trying to expand the hammer, or like the axe hole. When the drift gets stuck, turn the work on end and smack the back of it with the hammer of the anvil and flip it and hit the other side, then knock it off. I've seen that. I've seen people do that. Thanks for the reminder. I need to do that. I was doing that with the hammer. But it's been a while since I've done this. So yes, thanks for the reminder. Turn the work on end and smack the back of it. Yeah, that should knock it out pretty well. So yeah, now that we have the plug all the way out, I'm going to, the goal now is to expand the hole and make it bigger and wider, at least so that I can I have enough space to kind of work with the drift and work on those sides without making them too big or them being too small. I need to be able to put an axe handle in that hole. Trying to give myself good narration for the video. Man, I thought my headache was gone for a little while, but it's back. I don't know. Like I said, the pressure's a little bit off because we've got some storms coming in. We're supposed to get some storms this week. I don't know that it's necessarily from the hurricane that's down in the Caribbean, but occasionally we'll get some blowback from that. I feel like it's not close enough for us to be getting that blowback. Hopefully the anvil noise doesn't hurt or make it hurt worse. It's not too bad. I've got my headphones on and it's not too bad. If it did become an issue, I would let you guys know, but it's all right. It's not like it's just a dull ache right now. Earlier, it was more of a splitting headache, the stabby ones, but the ibuprofen has kind of taken the edge off, so. I was just hoping that it would just take all of it away, But I feel like I've taken enough ibuprofen that I'm getting a little bit of immunity to it. All right. Let's do another heat. I don't want to up the dosage. Okay, we're going to start this side. Ha! We've made it to the bottom. Look at that. There it went. we finally made it all the way through. That's really, really exciting for me. I'm happy. So we're gonna go this direction, kind of expanding it on either side, up the drift. Weird. I thought you lived in a developed country where storms, while are regular occurrences, would not cause problems with the internet. I mean, it shouldn't. It shouldn't, but it has in the past. But our infrastructure is really awful, to be quite honest. A lot of our internet infrastructure is built on the same infrastructure that our telephones are built on. And a lot of it hasn't been updated since telephones became a household name. But yay, bottom punched. It should be so much easier now. It's all the way through on the one side. So hopefully we can just expand the hole very quickly. We'll be able to finish opening the hole to my satisfaction, and on Friday we should just be able to start tapering out where I want that blade to start. I am going to start tapering it down, lengthening this blank a little bit. I think I want to go about halfway, or like thin it out halfway. And then once I reach that halfway point, then we'll start widening it out this direction. So we will go from our horizontal dies to vertical dies so that we can kind of expand outward. Woohoo! Then you needed to taper. Yes. Taper, taper. All the tapers. Aren't tapers like those little, like, I guess they're not little, they're like giant guinea pigs? There's like an animal called a taper. It's like I feel like it's a giant guinea pig. I could be wrong. It might be like a pig or something. I don't know. It's got like a really big butt and like kind of a smaller nose, if I remember correctly. The animal taper. That's a tapir. It's an anteater. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. A tapir or a taper. Tapir? I don't know. But yes, that's what I was referring to. The animal. I guess it's an anteater then. It's been a while since I've watched the nature documentaries. I used to be obsessed with the nature documentaries. One of the splurges that my family used to do is satellite TV. So we used to have like Dish, and so we would just watch. I would watch the Animal Planet all the time. Are you going to cut off the fish lipping before drawing out the faces further? Yes, I am. And the reason for that, because like I could theoretically just hammer it back, and I have done that on other projects, but I didn't do that before I cut out the holes, so I'm just gonna cut them off. That way the end will be flat, or like both ends will be flat, and I will have a nice surface to be able to taper it down. I don't want to have to forge weld the fish lip at the end of this process. So yes, I will be cutting off the ends. I'm probably going to use the bandsaw to do that. Yes, it will affect the weight of the axe, but yeah, as much weight as she has on the axe, it won't hurt anything. Yes, it's a super, super heavy axe. It's already the size. So I went to our local Rural King, which is our farm supply store, and I was looking at the axes that they have there, and I looked at the double-bladed axe, and my brick for my blank is already the size of their double-bladed axes. And so, yeah, I have way more material than I need. So I'm not worried about cutting it apart. I want nice clean ends. So yes, I was planning on doing that. It is not a 22-pound axe. It is closer to a 5.5-pound axe right now. So yeah, not the biggest axe, but it's big enough. It's enough for a battle axe. Yeah, it's not a true splitting, like a tree felling axe, but it is a splitting axe. I feel like it's even a little bit heavy for a battle axe, though. Battle axes are actually relatively light so that you can move them around. All right. I didn't say we were going to do another heat, but we're going to do another heat. We're racing the ad. We've got an ad coming up in about 3 minutes. Let's make sure that I put this with the wedge on the correct end. Look at it. It's peeking out. There it goes. Flip this over. Yeah, I did that correctly. Yay! Both sides make me happy. There we go. Now we just got to keep on keeping on. A little bit longer. It's opening up pretty wide, but I want to open it up a little bit longer before we start tapering it. Not too much more, because while it is a really, really small opening right now, I want to open it or have space to open it up further later on after I've done a little bit more shaping. So it's going to be small until closer to the end. I want to organically build this guy up. All right. If a claymore is a battle axe, it would be formed from Ray's blank. They need to be, because you have to move them quickly around. Yeah, like a battle axe is not as heavy as you might expect. A lot of them are actually wrapped. Instead of doing the full punched out brick, they do a lot of like wrapped and forge welded axes for battle axes, just so that they're easy to move around. You don't, because if you telegraph what you're going to do, your opponent can just find your opening and just stab you there, right? So you have to have enough flexibility to be able and make it light enough to be able to bluff and feint for your opponent. Yes, fighting knives are light as well. So yes. Oh. Ooh, I missed one. Yankee said one. Well, my carving axes are around 2 poundish. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Adventures and Nabs, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much. Welcome in, Raiders. I hope that you guys are not in the ad. I hope you're not stuck in the ad. If so, I apologize for that. Thank you so much. Welcome to the stream. I'm Ray, and I'm a blacksmith. I'm currently working on an axe. I'm not entirely, I think I have about 15 seconds before my ad ends. Hopefully we're not stuck in ads. I will be right back, guys. I will be right back. Give me half a second. I need to get something to drink. This is the worst time in the world for this, guys. I apologize. I'm just thirsty. I'm a thirsty person. Okay. Raw. Hey guys, I'm Ray. Welcome to the stream. I apologize for the ad and me being gone as soon as the ad was over. I am currently making an axe. Fitty last month, so yeah. Hope you're not stuck. Oh, in an ad, yes. So we are currently working on a ginormous axe. This thing is about 5.5 pounds right now. We are going to be lopping some off before next stream while we're starting to shape the axe. Right now, we are currently cutting in the hole for the handle. So every axe and every hammer has a hole in the metal so that you can put the handle in. So that's what we're currently doing. This is what we're using. This is the tool that we're using to cut in that handle hole. This is called an axe drift. Making an AIDS next, you say? The Eye of Sauron. I mean, the Eye of a Hammer. Yeah. So yeah, we have made hammers before. We made this hammer together, so I put that hole in there. And this is a lovely hammer. The handle's a little bit wide, that's why I don't tend to use it. But eventually I will rehandle it or thin out the handle. Anyway, so yeah, we are using this tool to put a teardrop shaped hole in the steel. We've just gotten about yay bit on, or like all through this thing. So it's the end is starting to peek through, and that's exciting. We're going to be expanding that hole, making it bigger. I don't want to make it expand it to its final size just yet. I want to allow myself a little bit of extra space. So while I'm working on the cheeks and other areas of the handle or of the hammer of the axe, that I have space and I don't expand the hammer or like the handle area too much. So I hope you can understand that. I'm all over the place with my words today. I apologize for that. Let's do another heat. Alrighty. I can show you guys what I'm doing. Showing is better than telling. All right. So you can kind of see the tool sticking out of there a little bit. So I'm hammering on the ends so that we can kind of release the axe. And it's nice and hot. You can kind of see that pink section. I gotta cool that off. And now we're gonna flip this over and work on the opposite side a little bit. Nice. Oh, come on. Let's get out of here. There it goes. We're getting there. Slowly but surely. We should be able to finish this drifting process to the point that I'm happy with it before the end of the stream. And that means that we will start shaping this axe on Friday, which is Halloween. It is crazy. Rising up, back on the nail, hit sometimes, misses some trances. Did I see the axe making video I posted on the Discord, Yankee? I did not. I've been a little bit absentee on some of my Discords. Like I've been looking at the Ray's Smithy Discord, and I've been keeping track of my D&D Discord, but that's it. So I need to catch up on what everybody else has been talking about. I've kind of let yours and Jack's a little bit on the wayside, but I will go and I will look for it specifically. Oh, I suck at Discord. Yeah, I do have one. The link is on the channel page. But, you know, I suck at Discord too. Yesterday I made myself a new center slot punch and hot work chisel out of some coil springs. Got to use some of that today to make a Suffolk latch for my door. Ooh, that sounds interesting. Aussie on Tap, thank you so much for that follow. Welcome to the community. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I'm really bad at Discord. I used to be a lot better at Discord, but I get to this point where I get really in my head about editing, and so I just don't check it, and then sometimes I will check it and then I will forget, so I don't respond. So I need to get better about my social media in general. Like I totally haven't posted on Instagram in like months. I need to get better at it, but it's not a habit, you know? I need to make it one. All right. What do we got? We got a decent amount of heat. Okay, I posted it and tagged you. Awesome. Thank you so much. I will take a look at it. Is it more just show and tell, or is it more of an advice video, or is it just like ASMR? What is the tone of the video? At least you're good at responding to messages. I mean, if it's a direct message to me, I will look at it because I hate seeing the little numbers, you know, because like when you get like a private message or you get pinged or something, there's like a little number, and I cannot stand seeing that on my icon. So I am pretty good about attending to pings and direct messages. Please don't blow up my direct message, please, but you know what I mean. It's kind of a documentary, but it also shows a lot of the process, and it's a bit wistful. That's cool. I enjoy like documentary processes and like how it's made kind of videos, you know? I try to kind of give myself a little bit of tutorial, a little bit of documentary how it's made for the videos that I edit. I don't know if I'm amazingly good at it yet, but I'm learning. I also try to make them a little bit on the short side because I have a super short attention span, and I figure a lot of other people do too. All right, let's do another heat. It was the last axe factory in Oakland, Maine in the 60s before it closed down. It was only 3 guys working there. Wow. Searches for the documentary of how to spam is made. Yeah. Spam. I like fried spam, but like, you know, that's the best way to eat it. Fried. Nice, nice. As I allow it to get too close to the edge, man. Bad, Ray, bad. Now I dropped it on the floor. Now I don't even remember what side I was on. I was on one of the 2 sides. I think I was on this side, so let's turn it this way for our next heat. That way we can get that lovely hourglass shape to that hole. It'll help open up and make the handle fit correctly. Alrighty. I promise I will change the view in just a second. There we go. Alrighty. Every time I drop this thing, it's like burns my tiles, and it kind of like I can smell it. It's not too bad though. It's not too bad. Hot bada. Badada. Yep. So yeah, for our, like the plans that I have for our next project, which I think it's gonna be at least another week, probably 2 weeks before we're working on our next project, is I have to decide whether I want to make a stake out of this. So a stake is like a tool that it's like a horn of an anvil, only like specially shaped to make bowls, or if I want to make the hammer that goes with that set, a chasing hammer, which is a hammer that is specifically designed to kind of bring the sides of a vessel up, because I want to make both of those pieces so that we can make a piece of armor. So those are the next 3 projects that I kind of have in mind beyond this axe. So we're going to be making tools to make projects. It's a potato, but with an accent. Oh, okay. John Burnell, not shabby, did a decent stream the other day. Made a one-piece spatula that I'm super jealous of. Awesome. Yeah, he went to Quad State, and I saw him at Quad State. I met him at the Brazil camp, and he's like, oh, I'm kind of a blacksmith. I'm not that great. I'm just sort of a hobbyist. I haven't been doing it for very long. And then he pulls out his phone and shows me these like absolutely gorgeous, elaborate pieces, and I'm like, I'm not a blacksmith. Goodness gracious. I look at that and I'm like, I'm not a blacksmith if you're not one. Yes. I mean, that's kind of just how I felt a little bit, you know. I feel like as long as I've been blacksmithing, there are some people that are just leagues and bounds ahead of me, and they just make me feel like a beginner. Yes, he's really good. Yeah, he's one. He's one that makes me feel like a beginner. But I mean, I have to say that there is like as a person, there's a limited amount of things that you can learn at any given length of time. And so some people learn certain things faster than others. And, you know, it's like you just have to keep learning at whatever your own pace is. So there's, you know, if you have blacksmithed, then you are a blacksmith, you know? Yeah, super obsessive people's hobbies. Oh, I do it a little bit. Yes. I do a little bit of blacksmithing, you know. It's not like I make it my whole personality or my whole job or anything. All right, let's do another heat. Not a big fan of this side because I've got like some curvature and it's harder to hit on this end. To unbind it. There we go. And then I drop it on the floor because, you know, that's what you do. And I drop that on the floor too. Goodness gracious. One of these days. One of these days, I'm going to get better at this. I promise. At not dropping things. Except I won't. That's a lie. A giant lie. I will always end up dropping stuff. All right, I'm taking a look at both sides of this. All right. It's looking like they're both equal. So we've got this hole on this side, and then we've got this hole on this side. I'm going to do 2 more heats, 1 for each side, and then I think I'm going to pack it in for the day. We will start again on Friday. All right. Oh, you know what? I totally already hit the thing. So did I even change to the close-up? I don't even know. Oh, I knew a guy named Smith. Another of our friends, Tredish on Insta. Bobby is a hobbyist, does 8 hours in the forge every day after work, and he does some mind-blowing detail work. I know. There are so many people who are like, oh, I'm a hobbyist. And it's like their second job. You find out in the editing. I know, right? Let's see if I have the recording of this. Oh, I do have a recording of it. Whether it's in the editing or not. Oh, goodness. Yeah, there are so many people, you know? So many people. No spoilers. Oh, goodness gracious. You can tell I'm starting to get a little bit tired because things that should be really easy to remember, it's gone. So I'm getting a little bit tired. So I think 2 more heats is going to be my maximum for the day. I will be back on Friday. That will be Halloween, which I just realized that today. I always date my audio recordings, and I'm all like, today is October whatever, and I was like, it's the 29th. Wow, that means Friday is going to be Halloween. And so I don't know I don't know that we're going to do anything special for Halloween, but I mean, maybe I don't know. As long as I don't accidentally create a horror show here on Twitch, we should be good to go. But yeah, I will be back on Friday. We will be continuing to work on the axe. I will be over here on the press and drawing out and thinning out the axe blade. We will probably be doing both the horizontal and the vertical. I want to kind of expand and fan out that blade. Ray hyped up on candy. I don't know. We don't have any candy in the house. So I feel like maybe if I mean, I've got cookies. I guess technically I do have candy in the house if you count that I have Chewy Chips Ahoy that have Reese's chunks in them. So, I mean, if you count that as candy, I guess I have candy. And I could be hopped up on that on Friday. I don't know. But yes, we will be back on Friday, just like every other Friday. I have a tendency to like lose track of holidays, For like many, many years, I didn't even remember my own birthday. Like when I started as a jeweler, I started working at Jared, which is for Signet, and I was like, I was an apprentice jewelry repair person. I started that job on my birthday, and I didn't even tell my boss, my new boss, that it was my birthday. And then when I started putting in all my information for like my W-9 and everything, she's like, it's your birthday. I wouldn't have started you today if I'd have known it was your birthday. Made it just in time to catch the end. Yes, we have 2 more heats that I'm going to do for this. We have completed the punching out the plug. We are getting close to the halfway mark on the drift. So I'm pretty happy with that. It's a little bit small, but I think that's a good thing, because as we continue to shape this guy, I want to make sure that we don't expand the hole way too much. So yes, I'm super excited. We're on Friday, we're going to start drawing out and thinning out that blade, shaping it up. Yes, speak of the devil. I was just telling them about how we met at Quad State, and you showed me your pictures on your phone, and they were just incredible. And you were all like, oh, I'm not that good. So yeah. It sucks when your work expects me, or when work expects me to do something when I could be watching a live stream. I mean, yeah. I guess I have the advantage because I'm self-employed, I get to watch whatever I want. Although it's hard to watch a live stream while I'm editing stuff, because I actually have to listen to the sound. Them bastards. So yeah, it's like, the worst part about editing my own videos is that I have to listen to my own voice. It's like, you listen to your voice in the recording and it doesn't sound like it does in your head. That's the worst. Although after doing it for about a year, I've kind of compartmentalized it to the point where it doesn't bother me anymore. Empress Freya is raiding me. Man, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for your raid. Welcome, welcome. I am Ray. I am a blacksmith. We are currently drifting the handle hole on a axe. but I only have, oh, I can't leave now. I know I can't leave now. That is always the thing, right? I'm about to raid off, and then someone raids in. So I don't know. Maybe we'll do an extra 2 more heats. I can probably manage 4 heats. I'm starting to get a little bit tired today, so I was planning on raiding off after 2 heats, but we'll do 4. We'll do 4. All right. So let's do the first one of those heats. I gotta beat my ad break because we got an ad coming in about 3.5 minutes, and I want to make sure that everybody gets to see this. So this is my lovely axe blank, and this is the tool that opens up the handle hole. So you can kind of see how far it's opened. Now I gotta get it out of here so I can flip it to the other side. Woo, I left these corners real sharp on this handle. And then drop it. Oh, this time it landed on its face instead of on this side. That makes it a lot easier to pick up. All right, let's see. Which side? This side, I think. This side is the side I want to do. Don't touch the hand or the thing. All right. Goodness gracious, we're dropping things all over the place. Alrighty. There we go. That's better. Do. Turn this over so I can heat that section. I have some hot spots in my forge, so I have to be a little bit careful which direction I put steel in. I need a grind monkey. I do need a grind monkey. Want to hire apprentice? Budget is 0, unfortunately. But yeah. So I have an ad incoming in about a minute. What apprentice? I wish I had an apprentice, you know, that I could tell the apprentice to grind for me. I mean, I still do have the butler, but I would have to teach the butler quite a bit before the butler would be very effective. That's what the butler is for. Yeah, so I'm going to do 3 more heats. We are going to be expanding the hole out. And then the ends have a little bit of fish lipping on them. So that's when the outside edges move faster than the interior of the steel. Sometimes that's because you can prevent that by either making sure that your piece of steel soaks in the heat all the way through it, and not being impatient like I am, or you can kind of upset back the corners, push them in so that when they do expand outward, it expands at a very similar rate. But yeah. Okay. So I'm currently under an ad break, so I am probably not going to talk about anything too terribly exciting. But yeah. It is a huge slab of steel to heat. Did I show you guys, Yankee, did I show you what I cut that piece off of? Were you here when I cut it off? No, but I bet it was fat. It was. Give me 30 seconds. Once this ad is over, I'll show you guys what I cut that off of. I will say that it was a truck axle. Somebody gave me a truck axle for like, I don't know if it's like they told me it was a truck axle. So I don't know if it was a semi-axle, but I also know a guy who works with trains. So, oh, Hansa said, or send you his leftovers, maybe. Yeah, there was like it was like, okay, so now that the ad is over, I'm gonna show you guys what I cut this piece of steel off of. So you kind of got a little bit of an idea. It's kind of like a rectangular brick, right? He had some old Soviet leaf springs or something. All right, I'm gonna show you what I cut that off of. I cut it off of this. Check that out. You know, hand. You know, this is the hammer. So yeah, this is a 3-pound hammer, 3-pound Imperial. And yeah, I cut off a chunk about, I don't know, probably about yay big. And then we used the press to turn it into that that rectangle that you guys have been seeing me work with. So I think it took us like a week to process it. Yes, I have a weapon. Yeah, I don't get YouTube notifications, so if you don't DM me on Messenger, I won't know you're live. Oh, okay, yeah. So like I said earlier, I think I said on Monday, I missed your stream because I didn't see the Facebook notification until like several hours after, and I was like, I don't know if he's still going or not. And then I should have looked to see if I couldn't find it, but I just couldn't find it. But yeah. Okay, let's do our next heat. So we're doing this by hand right now because our drift is too tall for the press. But the rest of this we have done completely with the press just because this material is so ridiculous. Not bad, not bad. I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest. There it goes. Off of the drift. Pretty easy. That was actually really exciting. Okay, so now we're gonna flip it over, put it back in the forge to heat, and we'll do another round of that. Yeah, it's moving. So I really like Twitch's streaming capabilities. I haven't actually streamed over on YouTube yet, but I really do enjoy like the perks of streaming on Twitch. It's relatively convenient, although they do. Yes, Twitch is so easy. They do kind of require you to have some sort of like secondary or third-party software. I use OBS. I'm not sure what Yankee uses. but I think he uses OBS. It's an open source. It's a little bit complex to learn at first, but you can do just about anything that you want. I tried Facebook and it is LOL. I use OBS in the shop. Yeah, I do too. When I'm out and about, like when I was streaming live at Quad State, I just use my phone. There is a Streamlabs app that you can kind of get for your phone, and it will use your data. Or if you have Wi-Fi on your phone, it works. It works all right. The last update on that thing really kind of screwed me up quite a bit when I was trying to stream for Quad State. Took us about 15 minutes to figure out what was going on. We eventually did, though. The Twitch app is better now. Is it? Because we were trying to figure out whether we wanted to change to the Twitch app on the phone. Can you stream directly from it? What have you been using for your your gardening ones? Yes, cool. But limited, okay. Well, normally when I'm out and about, I only have one camera. Well, I mean, technically I have two cameras, but the only one that's connected to the stream is the phone camera. I do have two cameras going when we're out and about streaming, but the second camera is like it's one of these cameras, and my phone gets it just sits on top of the other camera, so that's why you kind of get some up and down, because the butler's trying to get all of the information with both cameras. I use Prism app. It's free with limits or pay with buffs. Okay. Prism app. I'll have to look that one up because I'm looking for something new because the Streamlabs app is all screwy right now. It's not doing well. Alrighty. 2 more heats, guys. We're going to do our first one now. Hopefully I don't run into our ad again. If so, I will probably, I will make sure that I delay it. Yeah, it's easy and okay, but I don't get a lot of Twitch notifications and such. Oh, okay, that makes sense. I like getting all my Twitch notifications. I like to talk to people and know when they're rating in. I don't feel like we're making much progress right now, but I think that's all right. Come on. Woo! Scales flying off, hitting my hand. There it goes. That was really easy that time. All right, now we're going to flip this over. One more heat. Our last heat is going to be expanding that hole right there. From there, I got to cut off these fish lips and start shaping. It's really, really fat for a axe. Summoning another raid, so Ray has to add another couple heats. You guys are no fair. I gotta stop at some point. It's all right. I love streaming and I love talking to you guys and hanging out. So this will be our last heat. If there's anybody that you guys would like to raid to, please do let me know. I always take suggestions. If I have no suggestions, I will find one of our friends. And if I don't find one of our friends that, nobody that we know already is streaming, we'll find some new friends. So yes, thank you all for joining me today. I have had a blast. We've made quite a bit of progress. I wasn't expecting us to make quite as much progress as we did today. So it has only taken us 2 days to drift this guy. When we drifted the hammer, it took us like 4. So I'm super excited to have been able to speed up that process. And it's all thanks to drilling a pilot hole. I might, put that as part of our, our natural process. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how well it goes when we're starting to shape the hammer, or like the hole. Right now, you can still see a little bit of a remnant of the drilled hole. So once we start shaping those cheeks, I'm hoping that we can get rid of that and make sure it's nice and smooth. Mr. Rain092381, thank you so much for that follow. You have sent me a bunch of suggestions, Yankee. Are any of them actually streaming right now, or because I know Kiri usually raids off to me. She usually is done streaming by now. Yes, all of them are streaming. Awesome. I'll probably actually raid to Kiri just because she always raids to me, and this would be the first time I was able to raid to her. So, yeah, we'll do that. If she's still streaming by the time I finish this last heat, we'll raid off to Kiri. Alrighty. A little bit longer. I want a little bit more heat. She's at 4 hours now, but still going. It looks like. All right. She's good. I hope she doesn't raid me. I'm sorry. As much as I love raids, as much as I love being here, I do kind of also need to go to the bathroom. So yeah. I know you're kidding. All right, let's do our next heat, our last heat. Get wrecked. Pee breaks are allowed. You also have to remember that I have a chronic illness. Or I could just drop this piece. There we go. Let's see. I flipped this upside down by accident, and now I need to turn it this way. Alrighty. Let's go. Go, Gadget Ray. Oh, bad Ray. I put it in backwards. Glad I caught that immediately. Not bad, not bad. That's pretty good progress. That's about where I wanted it to be. So now, if you can kind of see, I don't know if you can or not, there are a little bit of remnants of where that hole that I drilled in was. And I gotta make sure that I get rid of that, because if I leave it in there, then it'll wreck the handle. All right, guys, that's all she wrote for the moment. Thank you so much for joining me today. What doesn't kill you makes me stronger. No fair playing that card. Yes, I'm gonna play it. It is looking more like an axe all the time. How long did that hole take to drill? I think it took about 10-15 minutes. But mostly because I had to keep stopping to put a whole bunch of lube in there so that I didn't overheat my drill bit. It didn't take all that long. I actually expected it to take longer. All right, let's go to my outro real fast. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for your support. Have a wonderful evening. and an amazing tomorrow. And I will be back on Friday. I misspelled Kiri's name because I'm a smart person. Alright, is Kiri still on? It's IE. It's not either I or E. It's IE. There we go. That's way less than I expected. It was way less than I expected. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. I will see you Friday.